Welcome inside TCO Studios. I'm Tatum Everett, and this is Pick 6 presented by KFAN, the show where we answer your fan questions. We're going to start right out of the gate with Captain Brian O'Neill, who's only allowed 1 sack this season. He also hasn't allowed a quarterback pressure since Week 8. The question is, KOC has been saying that you've been playing some of the best ball of your career. How does that make you feel, and why do you feel like you're having such a great season? Take it away, Brian.
Yeah, anytime a coach tells you that you're playing well, that makes you feel good. But it really makes me feel like I better go out there and play that well on Sunday, because the last thing you want to do is somebody prop you up and then you go have a letdown. So got to have your foot on the gas at all times in this league, and it's a what have you done for me lately league, and you got to go prove it every single week. And in terms of how it stacks up to other years, let's get through the rest of the season, and we'll talk about it then.
KOC talked about Brian O'Neill again at his Monday press conference, saying he relies on him to speak to the team at meetings. Plus, you saw him lead that post-game victory locker room huddle. He's been quite an amazing piece of this offense so far, a run offense that is much improved. However, we do have a question from Dylan in Ohio. He wants to know, how can we make the run game more effective? Voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, answers this one.
Dylan, Ohio, thank you very much for the question about the Minnesota Vikings making their running game more effective. We can start here. Not facing rookie Tavondre Sweat and or Jeffrey Simmons, a couple of beef eaters for the Titans who are really good against the run. That's a start. Now you get into this Bears game where they've lost their best run stopper, Andrew Billings, to injury. So keep that in mind against a team that gives up 130 rushing yards a game. That's okay, but the 4.8 yards per carry the Bears allow, that's near the bottom of the league. So it should be more effective this game. But if the Bears are going to single Justin Jefferson with Jalen Johnson, then the Vikings are going to throw the ball. And hopefully the run is able to amplify that.
For the past 2 seasons, the Vikings ranked 30th in rushing play calls. However, this season, they ranked 10th, so a lot more balance on that side of the ball. We are going to switch to defense, though, with our next question. Carter in Bloomington. He asks, what's it like to be too deep at each outside linebacker position? Of course, he's talking about Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, and the guy who's going to answer this one, Pat Jones II.
It's crazy, actually, because, when we all rolling. So, one guy goes out there, rushes somebody, and then he gets him tired, the other dude rolls right in. I'm fresh, so I get to go in and make plays. Same vice versa. When I get tired, other people go in, they fresh, so it just keeps everything rolling fresh.
PJ2 is having a career year with 7 sacks and 9 quarterback hits through 10 games. The next question we have, it's an online submission. Thank you to Calvin from North Carolina for this question. How big has the interior defensive line played, given they were a question mark coming into the season? Vikings analyst Pete Bercich has the answer.
Calvin, thank you for the question. And yet, you don't become the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL, or right at or near the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL, without those guys up front doing a great job. Harrison Phillips, Bullard, Tillery, Jalen Redmond even getting in there. Those big bodies in the middle of that defense have done an outstanding job. They do a great job of running stunts, reading blocks, playing off them, letting the linebackers and Cashman and Pace just run to the football. So those guys up front have been doing a fantastic job. And don't forget about guys like Pat Jones, who sometimes will line up as a 3 technique, or Jihad Ward will come in on 3rd down. It goes to show you how specialized a lot of these guys are, how specialized they are in their technique, and they are all executing them flawlessly, which is, again, why our running defense is so good. But we couldn't be that good without those big guys up front.
This Vikings front is allowing the 6th fewest yards per rush at 4 yards a carry. Thank you, Pete, for that insight. We're going to go to a Twitter submission up next. It's Darren. He wants to know, do you think Andrew Van Ginkel has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year? He's making a strong case for it. Let's hear what Eric Nordquist from 9 to Noon thinks.
Hey, it's Nordo from 9 to Noon, and that's a terrific question, Darren. Could Andrew Van Ginkel, one of our favorite new guys to the Vikings defense, could he be the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year? And my answer simply is, I think so. It's possible. You look at what he's done with this team right now, the 8 sacks, the 2 pick sixes. He leads the NFL in tackles for losses. The only thing really working against AVG right now, in my opinion, is probably name recognition. Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati leads the league in sacks. TJ Watt's going to get a ton of votes with the year-to-year impact that he has, his greatness. Nick Bosa in San Francisco. You think about some of those names, and then our guy, the quiet killer, Andrew Van Ginkel, defensively, how much he means to Brian Flores' defense. If you see a guy right now, 8 sacks, if he ends the season with 12, 13, 14 sacks, maybe he gets another defensive touchdown, then we're potentially talking about your 2024 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Andrew Van Ginkel. That'd be awesome.
Van Ginkel currently ranks 5th in the league with those 8 sacks. I'd say that's quite the offseason acquisition from the Vikings front office. To end this show, we're actually going to take a question, a fan question, from this week's episode of X's and O's. Ryan from Michigan asked, what are some things you and the organization are doing at this point in the season to keep young J.J. McCarthy developing and connected with the squad? Here's head coach Kevin O'Connell's answer.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something, when the injury happened, we sat down not only with JJ, but with a lot of the people in this building that are, what I believe to be the top of their professions in their aspects of helping our team. And we really formulated a plan that would be all-encompassing for JJ. In my opinion, the most important thing has always been the medical side of things and making sure that he knocks that out of the park and he's ready to have a great spring when that time comes. And I think we are on a great track to do that. But as he's progressed more and more, he is in the quarterback rooms. I do spend one of my favorite meetings of the whole week on Thursdays. Him and I have lunch together for about an hour, and he's basically digested some of the game plan. He may have questions about that. He may have questions about a lot of times he's asking me questions about, hey, when you're watching tape, what are you really looking for when you came up with this play? Or knowing we're playing against this defense and we've got, this coaching point this week, where did you see that? Have you seen that before? And I'm bringing up clips. I'm showing him, tape. I'm basically taking him, to the deep cuts of how we build things each and every week because he's a very, very smart kid. And he wants to know information. He's hungry for it. So I think that's been a huge part of it because that's not always something. I bet if you went around the league to some of these guys who are playing that were drafted kind of right around where JJ was, I bet they would all say they just wish they had a little bit more time.
Right.
They had a little bit more of that, information superhighway without the pressure of a 12 noon game on Sunday. So we've tried to build that as if it truly is a methodically built redshirt year to where it may be his first start when he takes the field for the first time for us, but not without a lot of time on task and purposely driven kind of plan for him. And I think he's doing really well with it. We've got to stay on top of it, and then it's going to be something that will be really, really exciting for everybody when we get him back healthy, ready to roll.
For that entire episode of X's and O's with head coach Kevin O'Connell, check out Vikings.com or the Vikings app. And if you want your fan question on our show next time, follow the Vikings on X. We have an online submission form you can click in or just reply to the tweet. Thanks for tuning in.